Welcome to my video tutorial about Mason and Hamlin Screwstringer hooks. This first video is to give you some familiarity with the basic stringing parts, the hooks and the nuts. We'll start with the hooks first. There are 4 different variations of hook. All 4 are used in each individual piano. From what I've been able to determine, the hooks and nuts can be used interchangeably between uprights and grands. However, if you're replacing parts, you have to use the proper component in the appropriate location. Of the 4 different varieties of hook, 2 are used in the treble section and 2 are used in the bass. The main difference between the bass hooks and the treble hooks are that they are longer. The bass hooks are also slightly thicker than treble hooks. Bass hooks and treble hooks are not interchangeable between their sections, but they are interchangeable within their own section. All hooks have the same general design. There's a thread, there's the body or the blade, and then there's the tip. All hooks are threaded with a standard number 8 size with 32 threads per inch. Bass hooks have slightly longer thread, presumably to take up more stretch of the strings over time. The blade is thicker on bass hooks than on treble hooks. That's why they're not interchangeable with treble hooks. Notice that the blade bends in one direction for some hooks and it bends in the opposite direction for other hooks. We'll get to that in a minute. The tip of each hook also has the same general design. There's a becket hole, or simply becket, just like in a tuning pin. There's a notch. I'm going to call that a crotchet, sort of the same root word as a crochet hook. And then there's a dimple. These 3 features of the tip are what hold the coil of music wire to the hook. We'll look at how to wrap a coil in another video. You'll notice that the becket, crotchet, and dimple on the tips of bass hooks are slightly larger to hold larger diameters of music wire. The 4 hooks shown here are all oriented with the crotchets pointing up. As I mentioned before, the blades for 2 of these hooks bend downward and the other 2 bend upward. When you hold the crotchet always pointing in the same direction, in the up direction, the direction of the bend shows you in which row of the plate holes the hook is meant to be used. Okay, so let's move on to nuts. There are 2 variations of screwstringer nut. They are generally the same design except for the fact that one is longer or taller than the other. The shorter nuts are used for the upper row of tuning hooks in grands and the front row of tuning hooks in uprights. The longer nuts are used in the lower row of grands and the back row on uprights. There's a 4-sided top to the nut. The screwstringer tuning tools, both the wrench for the grands and the T-handle for the uprights, fit the nut, but also fit the spacing between nuts in all pianos. The nuts are interchangeable between grands and uprights, and they are also interchangeable between bass hooks and treble hooks within the same piano. Although it can be done, it's generally not a good idea to interchange the nut from the row for which it was intended. It will make tuning more difficult. Upper row or front row tuning nuts should stay in that row. Lower row or back row tuning nuts should remain in their row. So those are the 6 parts. I hope this video has been clear in introducing you to the screw stringer parts.